How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Cool Kid Croc here, and today I'm coming to talk to you about a new colony builder that has been really hard to explain to anyone or get anyone else into. I'm sure if any of you have tried to explain a game like Kenshi or RimWorld to a friend, it's been very hard to get certain friends into these type of games. And when you already factor that into account, you want to top it off with the fact that the game is a Chinese game. That definitely isn't going to sell it. And when I tell people about a Chinese game, most of them will think about, say, that Overwatch clone that came out on mobile a few years ago. But times have changed, young Padawans, as today I'm going to be showing you a game that is very similar to RimWorld, but has its very own unique type of gameplay style and offers a lot of value to it. And when I compare this game to RimWorld, that's not a bad thing at all. RimWorld's a very good game in my eyes, and honestly one of the best for PC that's been put out in the past few years. So seeing a game that's similar to it, but sort of expands on the gameplay style in its own way, is very cool to see. The game takes most of the strategy and management systems we see in other games and applies it to create a unique and interesting universe, sort of surrounded around Chinese mythological and fiction lore. Now, if you were interested in the game and picked it up like myself, you're probably very confused if you don't know a lot of the language or lingo that the game's using in it. For me personally, RimWorld I'm still not good at, and it's still really hard to learn all the different mechanics, but I do know and feel the progress after each time, which is the same kind of feeling I got in this game as I played it too. The game's tutorial is extremely well done though, and if you just give that an hour of your time and go through all the lessons, you'll be able to figure out everything you need to know about the game before starting up your first playthrough. But if you're a very non-knowledgeable North Americaner like myself, you're probably not going to know a lot of the Chinese language or lingo, so feel free to either search it all up or definitely just go through the tutorial. I definitely recommend doing that before you just start a game and end up learning from your mistakes. Firstly, beginning the game, we get a little bit of a backstory. The group that we're going to be controlling apparently was a part of a huge sect that got attacked. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people didn't escape with them, but you can choose some different perks to choose how many guys you want with you or what kinds. The game lets you then create some characters. To create your characters, you just get to roll all the stats. You can kind of change your face portrait, but for the most part, you're just randomizing until you get the kind of character or stats that you want. Other than normal humans, you have different animals in the game, anything from bear and boar people all the way to cat girls. There's a lot of different diversity and potential for different playthroughs. The animals work in a different way though. They don't stay animals forever from what I know, so I wouldn't recommend starting a full colony of cat girls unless you just wanted to live your best life for about a month and a half. Honestly, if it wasn't for the cat girls being able to do dog fuck all, like they can't cook, they can't clean, they can't basically do anything that you'd want a cat girl to do, they're still pretty cool. You know, it's a unique concept. Make sure when you're picking out your cat girl colony, you don't roll one that's like a fucking 13 or something that'll leave her in a colony. You don't want to be seen hanging around her, okay? As we get into the game though, the gameplay is very familiar to another game like I mentioned. We start off by chopping wood and kind of exploring the map, figuring out what's all around us. An NPC will spawn here for the first 2 weeks of the game and basically protect your group from any kind of attacks or casualties, as well as give you some advice or tips on what you should do next. Survival in this game I also found to be a lot more easy, because of the fact that all the trees, when you chop them down, they will drop fruit, or you can even collect the fruit from them. On top of that, you have a normal wildlife, everything from frogs, different animals, to different mythological creatures. And even though you're basically doing most of the basic things you would do in other base builder games that are like this, the difference is that you kind of have to use all of this to create a positive and good environment for your sect and your sect's leader. Your sect are all basically like a religious kind of group, or they're all sort of following one belief, which is the belief that you're choosing to follow. Everybody will wake up in the morning of every day and then begin to train, or depending on when you have them set to. But this way they'll slowly start to build up their yellow bar and become more strong. And then other than getting more powerful themselves, you also have to balance out trying to get your sect more powerful. So what kind of workers you have going at once and who's going to be your more powerful units. In this game, there's a lot of different things that you can do through becoming powerful. Say like becoming immortal, you can master the different elements, you know, you can become like an avatar airbender type thing, as well as just building a massive sect or sort of colony and having a lot of loyal worshippers. And on top of all of that, given that it's a sandbox game and the randomized nature of it, each playthrough can be a little bit different, so it offers a lot of replayability. And the main problem of maybe the game having too many game mechanics or throwing too much at you at once, I didn't really find to be too much of a problem just due to the tutorial. That tutorial was probably the best tutorial I've played in a game like this ever, but my first 2 playthroughs would essentially just be learning playthroughs. I definitely messed them up big time and did not do too good on them, but I did end up having fun and do definitely want to end up reaching that demigod status one day. One of the struggles might be having to build your base and generate ki, which is sort of an energy that you use to upgrade your characters and give them more powers and stuff. And aside from becoming more powerful in that way, you can also talk to different NPCs in the game. This game's dialogue system I like a lot, honestly. It's very simple, while it also offers the ability for you to question different NPCs about different characters, locations, secrets, and all that shit. And it definitely adds that extra touch, as there are unique characters in the game from what I know, sort of immortal and powerful characters, so being able to maybe befriend them or find out where they are or secrets about them is pretty interesting. Sometimes the game will even let your sect know about a potential secret, somewhere that you can explore, maybe get some loot or power or knowledge. A lot of the times though, these places are guarded by either something like a weather resistance or maybe an enemy of some sort. To help with things like heat or cold resistance, you can draw talismans. This is another thing that I found really cool in the game. You actually have to draw out the kind of talisman that you'll be equipping to your character, and depending on how well you trace or draw it over, that'll end up influencing how well the stats come out for that item. But even with having some items like those, you definitely want to make sure you're actually well equipped. I ended up sending our version of Harold in this game over to go attack a giant frog. This was not a good choice at all. The giant frog cleaned house with Harold and he was like half health. And by the time he got back to the base, I found out that he had gotten corrupted from the lick of a frog. So that meant that Harold now was going to die in a few days if I didn't get him an elixir, which I couldn't craft because I was not prepared. So yeah, that was a bit brutal, but I could have just saved or redone my error and tried to not go and attack a giant fucking frog. As of right now, I've just been going through tutorials, kind of learning all the things that I'm struggling on, as well as looking up some tips online. So I wanted to make this video to sort of explain the game so far and give you guys my first impressions. And I do have to point out too, aside from just the gameplay being fire, I'm a huge fan of this art style in the game as well. I mean, the human NPCs do kind of look like older My Sims, but the sprites for the animal NPCs and then the sprites for all the equipment and different things on the map are really well done and look really nice. Seeing as I picked this game up for under like $30 Canadian, I would definitely recommend it if you are interested in a game like this. And while I tried to go over as much as I could to introduce you to the game and not overwhelm everyone, there's still a countless amount of different things and possibilities that you can do in this game. I can also see just a lot of people passing this game over, as they might just say, oh, it looks like a Chinese ripoff RimWorld. But the game definitely offers a lot more and can be a very good and unique experience in my eyes. I know I'm definitely going to be playing it a lot more, so I want to know if you guys are going to be playing it or if you guys are picking it up too. So far, it's just giving me a lot of the same vibes that I got with Kenshi at the start, trying to gather as much information and figure out a proper playthrough. That way I can create a character of like god level strength. So definitely don't be surprised if you guys end up seeing some playthroughs or videos on the game like that on the channel. Either way though, I hope you guys did like this video. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and comment. I'm on Discord, Twitter, TikTok, all that nonsense in the comments. Not in the fucking comments, it's in the description. I'm fucking baked. But you guys have a good one. Thank you for watching this video, and peace.